Russia-Ukraine war. Russia's Wagner Group chief says troops have taken Soledar. Eastern Ukrainian town renowned for its salt mines has been the center of days of fierce fighting. Soledar has been the focus of days of intense fighting as Russia has viewed it as key to its campaign for the nearby strategic city of Bakhmut and Ukraine's larger eastern Donbas region. The head of Russia's mercenary Wagner Group has claimed to have secured control of the salt mining town of Soledar in Ukraine's east, but uncertainty remains amid continued battles in the city center. It was not possible to verify the conditions on the ground and Ukrainian officials have not commented on the situation. Wagner units took control of the entire territory of Soledar. A cauldron has been formed in the center of the city in which urban fighting is going on. Russian news agencies reported Wagner head Yevgeny Prigozhin, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, as saying late on Tuesday. The number of prisoners will be announced tomorrow, Prigozhin added. The encircled Ukrainian soldiers had been given an ultimatum to surrender by midnight, 2200 hours GMT, the group said on Telegram. Soledar is about 15 kilometers, 9 miles, from Bakhmut, and its capture would have symbolic, military and commercial value for Russia. The Russian state RIA news agency later issued a report saying the Wagner Group had taken over Soledar's salt mines following fierce fighting, while Prigozhin shared a photo of himself surrounded by his mercenaries in what he said was one of the mines. Still, the Institute for the Study of War, a Washington, D.C.-based think tank, expressed caution about the Russian claims. Russian forces have not captured the entirety of #Soledar despite false Russian claims that the city has fallen and that #Bakhmut risks imminent encirclement, it said in a Twitter thread, noting that Prigozhin himself had acknowledged urban warfare was continuing. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky did not mention control of Soledar in his regular video address on Tuesday evening when he repeated his call for more Western weapons, saying Russia was looking to intensify its military campaign. He did not provide details. But Ukraine's defense ministry tweeted late on Tuesday, even after suffering colossal losses, Russia is still maniacally trying to seize Soledar, home to the largest salt mine in Europe. Ukraine said earlier its forces were still holding on to positions in Soledar, withstanding assaults by wave after wave of Russian forces seeking their first battlefield victory in months. Seizing Soledar would be Russia's most substantial gain since August, after a series of humiliating retreats in the northeast and south in the second half of 2022. But any victory in Bakhmut would come at an enormous cost, with troops from both sides having taken heavy losses in some of the most intense fighting since Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24 last year. Kyiv has released pictures in recent days showing what it says are many Russian soldiers strewn dead in muddy fields. Moscow says capturing Bakhmut would be a crucial step towards taking full control of Ukraine's Donetsk region, one of 4 provinces it claimed to have annexed 2 months ago. Capturing Soledar by Russia will increase tensions with West. When Russian troops stepped up an assault on the town of Soledar in eastern Ukraine, as Ukrainian troops faced waves of attacks, officials in Kyiv say. Britain's defense ministry also said Russian and forces of Russia's Wagner contract group were probably now in control of most of the small salt mining town after advances in the last 4 days. Soledar, in the industrial Donbas region, lies a few miles from Bakhmut, where troops from both sides have been taking heavy losses in some of the most intense trench warfare since Russia invaded Ukraine nearly 11 months ago. Russia's Soledar axis is highly likely an effort to envelop Bakhmut from the north, and to disrupt Ukrainian lines of communication, Britain said in an intelligence briefly. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in his nightly video address Bakhmut and Soledar were holding. He cited new and fiercer attacks in Soledar, where he said no walls had been left standing and claimed the land was covered with Russian corpses. Thanks to the resilience of our soldiers in Soledar, we have won for Ukraine additional time and additional strength, Zelensky said. He did not spell out what he meant by gaining time or strength. Russia's defense ministry did not mention either Soledar or Bakhmut in a media briefing. Wagner was founded by Yevgeny Prigozhin, an ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Drawing some recruits from Russia's prisons and known for uncompromising violence, it is active in conflicts in Africa and has taken a prominent role in Russia's war effort in Ukraine. Prigozhin has been trying to capture Bakhmut and Soledar for months. He said its significance lay in a network of cavernous mining tunnels below the ground, which can hold troops or tanks. Ukrainian military analyst Oleh Zhdanov said fighting in Bakhmut and Soledar was the most intense on the entire front line. So many remain on the battlefield, either dead or wounded, he said on YouTube. They attack our positions in waves, but the wounded as a rule die where they lie, either from exposure as it is very cold or from blood loss. No one is coming to help them or to collect the dead from the battlefield. In an evacuee center in nearby Kramatorsk, an old lady said she had fled Soledar after moving from apartment to apartment as each was destroyed in tank battles. There isn't one house left intact. Apartments were burning, breaking in half. Ukrainian officials, led by the Commander-in-Chief General Valery Zaluzhny, have warned that Russia was preparing fresh troops for a new offensive on Ukraine, possibly on the capital Kyiv. Zelensky also appears to be banking on securing more sophisticated weapons from Ukraine's Western partners to beat off attacks and eventually expel Russian troops. France, Germany and the United States all pledged last week to send armored fighting vehicles, fulfilling a long-standing Ukrainian request. Britain is considering supplying Ukraine with 10 £4.2 million Challenger 2 tanks. Britain's defense ministry did not comment. Tensions between US-led NATO and Russia increase. One of President Vladimir Putin's closest allies said today the West, led by the US, wanted to divide Russia into parts and ultimately wipe it from the political map of the world. The events in Ukraine are not a clash between Moscow and Kyiv, this is a military confrontation between Russia and NATO, and above all the United States and Britain. Russian Security Council Secretary Nikolai Patrushev said. Last week, President Vladimir Putin sent the frigate to the Atlantic Ocean armed with new generation Zircon hypersonic cruise missiles, a signal to the West that Russia will not back down over the war in Ukraine. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev last week warned the U.S. that the hypersonic missiles would soon be close to NATO's shores.